guys, excuse me, welcome. I'm Tracy. This is my channel, Tracy from the Mermaid Cove. We're going to work, you guys. And I left my sunglasses at work on the table, and this is my second day, and I really, for my cataract in my eyes, and even the eye that got injured, not enjoying this. So my first thought was, well, I'll just buy an extra pair, and I'm like, okay, well, we're not doing that anymore. You just be responsible and maybe take your sunglasses off in the car, not at work, or put them in your purse. Like, you know, can't always be, I'll just buy a new one. But that honestly is how I've been. So, gonna change all that, working on it. But my brain caught that. It caught that. But yeah, so the last conversation with you guys, I went into femininity, and it's so interesting. I had no plans. That was not, I mean, I don't really ever have plans. I mean, like, oh, I'm going to talk about what I'm going to do or eating or something. But I don't really script it or think, oh yeah, I'll talk about this topic. I don't, you know. And even if I did, I wouldn't remember. So, but this is a weird, I apologize for the weird angle, but my thing that I put it on here up top on my windshield's not working correctly, and I got to fix it. And it's one of those things I don't remember, or don't give myself time to do. So so I know if not all of you, but a few of you worry because my hands aren't on the steering wheel because I'm talking. But you know, it's interesting. I'm usually talking to my friend Bev on the phone, and I'm doing this. So, and when it's dicey, you know, but so forgive me if that makes you nervous. But it's very hard to sort of change that right now. But yeah, so it's interesting. Again, letting go of things that overwhelm you is so much more than letting go of things. And it helps me 100% that I have a place that I know people who need things are going to get to use them, or it's going to add something fun to their life. And that is huge for me. It's a driving force to do all this. But it also is, you know, it's about my life. It is about changing. What's interesting is there's a woman called Sonia Coquette. I think it's Couqhette, Sonia, Sonia. She's on Instagram. My friend turned me on to her a long time ago. I listened to her audio recording over and over when my mom was sick, and it was about angels and how they help you, and how, you know, and you need to ask. So she does everything spiritual based. You know, all about, you know, sometimes we think, well, we want to change, but how do we change if we don't know? And that's why we research and we look. But she's really about the spirit. And for me, that is everything. So, but she had a little, you know, on her Instagram account on Reel. And y'all, if you're on Instagram, follow her. She starts your day off right. And, but she was talking about, you know, to release things around you to make change in your life. Like, it's hard to make change truly last if you aren't changing things around you, right? If you're not changing your environment, if you're not changing what you're putting in your body, if you're not changing, moving away from friends that aren't maybe the best for you, that kind of thing. And y'all, I learned that a long time ago, that people who, you know, there's crazy makers, right? And in Julia Cameron's book, look at this, y'all, I'm going to freak out, because we have I don't know if y'all have it, but we have these ramps, right? And during traffic time, which it is not, they make you stop, and then it goes real fast green, and some people can't even manage to get through and don't understand it. Now, it is 9:17, and this thing is on, and it hasn't changed. And we're backed up on that thing, and there's traffic flying. See, this kind of thing makes me want to write somebody. But anyway, maybe there's a purpose that I get. See, it went and this person didn't go. Okay. Maybe there's a reason. If I get on the highway a little later, like 2 minutes later, I might avoid something. So let's go with that, because I'm trying to be positive. I mean, why? Anyway, because I feel like I'm a little late, and I don't like being late. So otherwise, yeah, I'm spending time with you. What does it matter? So, but now I've lost my train of thought. Let's take a drink every time I lose my train of thought or have a piece of chocolate. Wow. But anyway, it's just thinking about this narrow definition that we've been sold to make money off us. Okay. Now it's flashing so we can go. But, you know, that this, and how much money, and even, you know, like wrinkles. So this is a real challenge for me. Like, it's like we're anti-wrinkle in this society. You can't look old. And I love women who just embrace their age, because youth is a young person's game, right? I mean, it is a young person's game. And the amount of money spent to look younger, which you really can't do. I mean, there's some people who obviously have tons of money and get like amazing plastic surgery and skincare and all that. But that's not, you know, the majority of people. And Mimi, like I said, Mimi was so vain. She always wanted me to try Botox up here. I was like, Mimi, number one, why am I going to spend my money on that? And number two, it's temporary. And you don't know if you're going to have a reaction to it. So me wanting to look, but in her mind, but that's just Mimi, right? Like, I would probably feel better about myself. But I just said, that's your vanity. And that's sad. That was really sad. But yeah, so I decided just, you know, I would love to get more facials and just normal stuff like that. I don't want, like, somebody said, well, you should try some kind of, they put acid on your face. I have such sensitive skin. I cannot, you know, you can't guarantee anything, y'all. So I don't have H-spots. My goal is to be me, and people are attracted to me and my energy and what I'm saying. And if they're studying my face, then I'm studying my face, right? Nobody's going to study harder than I do. But I really do work through this. And I just want it to feel good. I really do. You know, we've been through a lot, me and my body and my face. And, I deserve, I really am learning how I deserve to be kind to myself, and it's a work in progress. But I tell you right now, the trick is, don't judge yourself for judging yourself. Like, don't be mad at yourself. Damn it, I'm judging myself again. Like, that is not the point. And that's tricky. Why is that so tricky? But I'm getting so much better at it. I catch myself now like this. Because the point is, you're always going, you know, in Buddhism or anything, it's not that you're never going to have thoughts. The thing is, what do you do when you have them? How do you react? Do you sit with them? Do you breathe through them? You know, there's all these techniques. But anyway, yeah, Sonia Coquette is somebody who's been a spiritual teacher to me, because I don't necessarily I wouldn't be averse to going to a church, but I just have never looked around, and, you know, it just, there's stuff that comes with that. There's good stuff, there's politics, there's, you know, I don't know. Not yet. If it happens, it happens. But I do have a spiritual life, and I would like to have a little bit more dedicated time. I guess that's how I'd like to say it. Like, so you're in church from like 10 to 12, you know, that's the scheduled time. If you want to go, that's when you go, kind of thing. So I would like to create that time for myself, you know, and so that's something that's on something popped up. Anyway, so I got, just my bedroom's a hot mess. Needless to say, I've been in the garage, and so this weekend I'm going to work on all, you know, my goal is to get all my clothes washed and hung up, and, you know, start that on July 1, wearing a top a day, just to go through all my tops and see if I like them or not, if I feel good in them. But so the area where I would sit is cluttered. Basically, there's stuff that needs to be put away. And I've been doing so much art in my room, and I have stuff everywhere. So that's not terrible, right? I mean, like, I was looking around today, and I'm like, okay, let's, I'm not going to do it now because I have stuff I need to do, but let's gather all art things and put them together. Let's see what is in there that just needs that extra step of putting it away. And let's start with that. But I really, truly don't need it to look a certain way, or have a certain candle, or have certain music playing or have a certain anything, a certain crystal, whatever it is, to meditate or to spend quiet time with myself, to open up to everything that's going on, or to listen to myself, or let messages come. And and she also teaches you, like, how do you communicate with your guides. And I know there's people who don't believe in it. I actually have good friends that are, like, really intelligent, like much more than I am, but they don't have I don't know, I still think people have more faith than they let on, but that's their journey, not my journey. And I always say to my friends who don't believe in God, well, God believes in you. And I believe in you. But yeah, so that's something I think that's super important. And again, to get lost in, it needs to be a certain way for me to be able to do it. So also like that, you need to lose weight before you can go to the gym. You know what? I need to lose weight before I can date. I need to lose weight before I can buy cute clothes. And I really have moved past a lot of that. But as I release the clutter, and I have a whole vision for my bedroom. Like, I want it to be a sanctuary. I want it to be calm. Right now, I have my mom's TV. I haven't had it on in years. And I think I don't know if the food bank would want that or not. I make sure it works. But my mom had cable, and, I'm going to really downgrade my cable. But my mom is very important to her. And then there's this wicker dresser, which is fine. But my vision is I let that go. And I get 2 really nice end tables. And I have in my mind, I saw in a magazine, and I know it's on Instagram, I'll have to find it and post it, and try to remember to do that. But there's sort of like, I can't describe it, but they're beautiful, right? So that is in my head. I desperately need a new mattress, and I'm going to do that sooner rather than later. And I don't necessarily want a bed frame right now because I love the picture that hangs on my wall. But yeah, and also part of that's having my closet decluttered so it looks better and there's room in between the clothes to breathe. And yeah, so that, it's not my top priority. My top priority right now is just to get stuff out of there that shouldn't be there. And then have this place where I really can just be. Because, I really need to work on, I'm choosing to work on the first floor to make room for a wonderful roommate to come in for me and Clara. And the roommate. So that's what's going on with that. And, but it's interesting how, I'm like, oh, you can't do that because you need to work on this because you need a roommate kind of thinking. But I am going to spend some time. I really do going to get my clothes in order. And I haven't decided, like, am I just going to randomly grab something? Am I going to start at the left and move down? Just whatever that is. That's probably what I should do. That's probably what I will do. See, when you watch your words, y'all, don't should all over yourself. That's what they say. Don't should all over yourself. But anyway, so Sonia Coquette, she's also somebody who I've signed up for a class in Lost the Plot. And actually, it's about manifestation. And I got to a point, like, where she was talking about, you really need to be clear on what you want. And it stopped me. I let it stop me. I'm like, am I afraid in private to really want what I want? Thinking, well, you're not getting that. What are you, crazy? Let's just do something simple. So there's that going on, but I'm going to go back. Sometimes when you're taking a class online, you cannot figure out how to get back, and that just drives me wild. But I'd like to do that, and again, my first thinking is, oh, you'll do it every day. No, I won't. But like twice a week, once a week. Like if I sit with myself once a week, and the benefit from that, and I do think now as I'm going to go on this journey of learning more about myself as I release certain foods, right? As I go through trying to choose health instead of the moment or the taste or addiction, that I'm going to need that kind of support, that I'm going to need some quiet time. And really this whole thing is kind of really about listening. I'm trying to think, other than my therapist who's amazing, but I'm trying to think. Have I ever had someone tell me, listen to yourself? Like, you have the knowledge and the wisdom. Listen, you're blocking out your own internal voice, which is, I don't know how this works. I really don't. I just know it works. But that you're blocking that, right? And no one's ever, you know what I mean? But Sonia does. And that's why, I think I've told you all this before, but I've got new people. And if you're here, thank you so much. I really wish you'd introduce yourself. It means so much to me when you do. But when my dad died, I was 17. He was 47. It was horrible. And just horrible things were going on in my life with a stepmother and just dramas that I would not read that book. I wouldn't. But my dad's best friend's wife handed me a book. And it was When Bad Things Happen to Good People. And y'all, I recommend you read that book. And I probably should read it again. And I should revisit that. And it changed because I had no words for what was happening. I had no understanding for what was happening. I mean, our pastor turned out to be a creep. I mean, I had this woman I babied for, its husband try to put the moves on me in a really horrible way. My stepmother was sleeping with my dad's best friend. I mean, on and on. And my dad died. And under circumstances that made me upset. Let's just say that. So, and, it was March of my senior year of college, high school. I'm supposed to go to college. I mean, it was devastating to me. Devastating. But you have to act like you're okay and go on, right? And my stepmother coveted me in a weird way, was jealous of my mother, made a scene at the funeral, at the viewing. I didn't know people you guys, crazy. And I stopped really telling this story all the time because that was then, this is now. I'm not that person these things happen to anymore. I'm not. And one of the things is I don't choose crazy makers in my life. Now I have friends, I'm not saying anyone's perfect or lovely or charming all the time. That's not it. But people who really have drama and create drama and, like I had someone in my life and and they were always unhappy. And I'm like, I've had great therapy. I've read books and like, hey, well, da-da-da. I never, ever, did one thing. And that's fine because that's their journey and they couldn't. But do I need to listen to the same story over and over again? No, I really didn't want to. And I moved away. And it's not like you say, hey, you know what? One of my friends and I did have that. That's another story. But Mimi has brought us back together in a really healthy way. But I've learned to move away. I used to have crazy makers all the time because that's kind of what I knew. I knew chaos from my child, just from the end of my father's life. And really just drama all the time. When two parents are divorcing and, go from and start to really be angry with each other, it's unpleasant to be around. And if you're empathetic and you want everyone to be okay, holy moly, I just am a miracle. I'm a miracle. We all are. You're here and you survive things, create horrible things, things that you may not even realize. Some of you have lost children, and my heart, when I just send you so much love and support. And, there's no words, there's no true healing. There's just you're trying to figure out how to live your life to honor that person. Because that child would never want you, to grieve your life away. Yeah, that's huge to do, and a lot of people have a faith that got them through. But we all have, and there's some things like something like that, but there's things that go on that you just can't cope with and you ignore it or put it away and just get on living because life is like that. And then you throw in that we're in a world that wants to make money off us by making us feel bad, so we'll buy their product, right? The diet industry should be illegal. It should be illegal because it doesn't work. They don't produce the results. They don't. For people who truly have eating disorders, it does not work. But but yeah, there we are. And I'm going to tell you right now, a new book comes out. People have been taking this insulin medicine, Ozempic or something, and I read about it and I thought, well, what's going on? And but when Fen-Phen was out, and those of you who are in the struggle for life, it was, drug that would make you lose weight. But it also, people were having heart attacks and dying. And I am like, I think I might have just told you all, like, honestly, but I'm just not an angry person. Well, I have talked about that because I do have anger and all that. But anyway, it made me enraged all the time. So you pay a price for that. Is that worth it? Probably not. I don't know. But why aren't we just told you're great? Let's try to be healthy. Let's get you moving. Let's get you some cute clothes. Let's do the best you can, right? Like, but that's not the cycle. So to make money. So Sonia is just, I don't know. I try to start my morning with her. I also love Marianne Williamson. I love the way she talks. Like, I love her cadence. I love just her timing. I feel like, she was Oprah founder, Return to Love. And she ran for president, but obviously she knew, she wanted to bring a different dialogue into the conversation, which, people like me love, but I don't know how to touch people who aren't into that, But I just love her, and I get a morning meditation from her, which I pretty much never do, But so little stuff like that, I would like to, those are, life's your teacher, right? But there are people who give you tools, give you knowledge that maybe your parents couldn't give you, that maybe you didn't learn in school, that maybe the people around you did not bring to you. Now, I've always have attracted amazing human beings in my life. Always. It's amazing. So you try to concentrate on that, and people who have gotten me here, and even people I did not know that long, right? People who just came and left. Some people, I don't know, there's part of me wishes I had taken pictures and written names and dates down, but I don't think that was the point. The point was they came in, and whatever, I was supposed to learn, or whether it's somebody who just thought I was amazing and told me that all the time, or, we had a volunteer come in. She was a lovely woman, and this must have been, I'm going to say, 25 years ago. I feel like her name was Carol, and she's a Mormon, but part of it was to do volunteer work, and she was such a light. And this is what made me think of it. She had a scrapbook of life, right? And this is, I think, a very Mormon thing to do. And she took my picture. Someone took a picture of us for the idea of a selfie. And she showed me her notebook she said, there's people who I've met who I know are like ordained from God, or there's a purpose. And I love to capture that moment. And but she adored me. She loved me. She thought, this is a time when I was really unhappy, and I was probably 120 pounds heavier, and really uncomfortable and unhappy. And, to have someone like that, she almost glowed when she looked at me. It was really, and she told me such amazing things. And she, she said, I know light, you're a light, and you don't have to dim it. This will not last forever. It's okay to shine your light. You will learn how to shine your light and deal with what comes for that. But, as you shine your light, darkness recedes. Powerful stuff, but it was, at the time, it almost was painful to me, because why am I used it against myself, like, see, you're not doing what you should do, you're because that's how it was, and that's how my thinking was. But as time's gone by and she's popped into my head and what she said, I understand it differently, and I carry that in my heart. So sometimes you get things, or things happen that are not meant to be understood in the moment, which, that's a huge revelation for me. But they're meant to be unpacked, and they're there at a time when you would have never thought whatever that was would support you. So, all this is so fascinating to me, you guys. And I don't know why. Nobody in my family was like that. My good friend Mary, she's very much like this. And, I met her when I was 11. And so she's been a witness to my childhood. So, and she's still in my life. So, stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, but crazy makers. But I don't want, one thing, I had to stop being a crazy maker, right? In my own version of that. And I would get so whipped up in people's lives and upset and come home and talk to my mom. My mom would be upset and like, why do you do this kind of, So I was my own kind of crazy maker. And until you understand your part in it, you can't. No real growth happens, no real change happens. But the thing is to understand it in a non-judgmental way, which is definitely a work in progress. But I have come so far on that. I was thinking about that. I pulled in my garage last night. And I felt overwhelmed, and I thought, you've kept too much. Oh my God, what are you doing? This is your opportunity. Why do you have this much stuff? And I caught that, and I was like, what are you talking about? Shut up. Like, are you insane? This was like Herculean on so many levels. And yes, you're not done. You're not finished. There's that part of me who's like, well, you're not going to go back to this. You're not. It's enough. You can park. You're not going to use this space. You're not going to do art. Oh my God, it was out of nowhere, and I was thinking about that later, and I'm like, it's so weird when we're just taught not to praise ourselves, aren't we? We're just taught not to be a cheerleader for ourselves. That it is all the things that you don't want to be. And you think about it, if you're lucky enough to be in an environment as a child where people applaud you and love you and, give you stickers for going to the bathroom and, I think that's a huge loss as you age when you go and you don't get that validation in a way you used to. I think that's part of people's struggles. I really do. And then there's some people who never get it and are torn down from birth, and that doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it. But anyway, I did realize that last night. I laughed. I said, no, we're not going to believe that lie. That's a lie. What are you doing? What are you afraid of? Like, what are you afraid of? Why are you trying to stop us? Like, how many voices are in my head? I don't know. It's interesting. I don't, but it does feel that way to me. And we're not all on the same page. We're not all on the same team. So the parts that feel like they're not on the same team and want to disrupt the team are the parts I'm trying to focus on, right? So anyway, I just felt like sharing all that with y'all once I got going. I just really hard. I can't, it's just, this is such an important process for me. And I'm just so thankful. And, even like I said, one person reaches out and says to me, wow, I feel this way. I totally understand what you're doing. Or I never thought about it this way. Or I didn't realize, that made sense to me. Or that felt familiar. Or that felt like my truth. Because it is just a weird thing in our society that you really don't tell the truth about yourself. That you really don't share the dark parts. You really, you need your hair done and, dressed and ironed. And you need to look like you're okay, whether you're or not. And we all know that doesn't mean anything, right? It doesn't. And if you're a hot mess looking, doesn't mean you're a hot mess, right? It's so fascinating. And I use the word hot mess, and I use it in a funny way, but I don't know. Is that a message to myself? Well, you don't have to do this. You're a hot mess. Well, of course your garage isn't finished. You're a hot mess. Well, of course you don't have food to eat. Go out and eat because you're a hot mess. So I've been listening to what I say to myself, and I thought, you know what? It's going to take me time, but I'm going to find another term that is kind and loving and optimistic and supportive. But we live in an environment, in a society that doesn't really, it likes to tear people down. It's just amazing. And I read this, Yale has a class on happiness that you can take for free. All of these big universities, you can say, hey, I took a class at Harvard or Yale. But it was about happiness. I want to go back and take it again. There's so much I want to do, y'all, so you have to pick and choose. But one of the things was they found studies that, okay, we're going to double your salary, but you have a choice. We're going to triple your coworker's salary and double yours. But if we don't double yours, but if they won't get at all either, right? So you'll stay the same, or you will double, they'll triple. Do you know the majority of the people chose not to get the money and let other people get more than them? That you would shoot yourself in the foot. Like, what does somebody else getting more than you have to do with you? Really? But we're in a society that fosters that you know, there's a pie, and my God, don't take my slice of pie. Y'all, but when there's a pie in the kitchen, I go get my spice and put it in the refrigerator because I know it's gonna go, whatever. But, you know, yeah. So I don't know, I'm just sharing all this, you guys, and I know some of you have clicked off, and that's fine. But yeah, it just is, there's some deep thoughts going on here, and I know part of it's the decluttering and letting go and making decisions and thinking, you know, I really am, you know, tomorrow I'm going to be in my garage again, and I have one main task I really have assigned myself that will settle my mind a little bit. So I really am going to stay focused on that. And then these and I'm going to get places ready so I can put books on it. And my goal is to have, you know, and I still have a lot to clean from the mice on one side of the garage, but I might do like one at a time. And like I said, my cleaner's gonna come clean. I was just so happy. But these, you know, I have these like, they look like mothballs, but they're green, that mice don't like. But doesn't smell as bad as a mothball. But when I went in my garage last night, I was like, oh, I don't know if I like the smell. But when I'm in there, I have this mint spray that I love. And like I said, I could bring my diffuser in and smell peppermint. So there's ways around that. Because I spent some money on those things. And if it's going to help deter them, then, you know, I'll have to read and find out how long it lasts in theory. So yeah, so I thought, well, I challenged that thinking. So maybe had I not challenged that thinking, I would have just all of a sudden felt really shitty about myself. And if I feel shitty about myself, then maybe I would say, oh, well, just eat whatever you want because you're going to start tomorrow. You know, it's such a pattern. But, y'all, I don't know why I'm having this throat thing. I think it's the smoke in the air or something. Because I have not had dairy. I didn't have any dairy yesterday. I did not have dairy this morning. Very strange what is going on. Maybe my body's decluttering. But, you know, it all goes hand in hand. It really does. So, anyway, that's what I'm sharing with y'all. Thank you for listening. I am late to work. I hate that, but it's rare, so. But, yeah, but I hope, I don't know. Sonia Colcat works for me. She might not, you know, she may not mean anything to you. She may not, you know, it may not be a hit for you, but, you know, there's so many great, you know, Wayne Dyer, Dale Carson, you know, Dale Carnegie, there's so many different, the message is the same, and there's so many different ways of delivering it. So if you want something that's more Bible-based or Jesus-based, or you want something more Buddhist-based, you know, it's out there for you. And dare I say, at the local library. So I would suggest, if you're in a place, find something that can help you, that can change your thoughts, that can, not that they'll change immediately, but start, like, you know, in some ways I feel like the decluttering is like, you know, making the soil fertile, like digging up and getting the weeds out, and I'm doing a little bit of planting, dropping some seeds, and but you got to tend to them, right? And sometimes the seed does, for whatever, not any fault of your own, it just doesn't take. So you need to maybe plant more seeds, and maybe you need to do that one over and over again, and then it will. So it's just, again, to move away from being goal oriented is just makes my head hurt. Like, I have my task tomorrow, and I know what I want to do, and I know what it looks like. And is that okay? I think it is okay. But if I don't do that and I treat myself badly, that's not okay. So it's like, how do you have a to-do list but not hold yourself accountable for not doing all your to-do list, which is impossible to do? Impossible. Beverly will say to me, oh my God, that's a lot to do. And then I'll tell her what I did, but I didn't do it all. And she's like, you did a lot, but I don't feel like I did. So that's where, you know, having a best friend that kind of shows a mirror and shines a light is super helpful. Other than someone's like, yeah, what a loser. You didn't do like 300 things. You only did like 199. What's wrong with you? Right? And all right, guys, I'm going to go and get myself ready so I can dash out of my car. And you take care. And I'm going to try to post this. And yeah, we're going to do some more decluttering. I got more Christmas and all that. So, but I don't know. It's just been important to me to talk about all this. So thank you for listening and being here. And I appreciate it so much.